Hello everyone, and welcome to another studio vlog, which is a video diary of creative things I've been doing semi-recently. It's basically just show and tell for me. The first thing I wanted to show off is actually a new one for me, and that is diving into a watercolor workbook that a friend got me as a Christmas gift. I own a set of watercolor paints, but I actually know nothing at all about painting, but I also felt bad that my paints weren't being used. I mentioned this to a friend of mine, and she got me this workbook as a gift, which I was super grateful for, and of course it took me several months to actually start using it. So this is definitely new for me, and of course I have a lot of work ahead of me, but I really enjoyed getting to do this and I can't wait to continue with it in the future. Next up is kind of a wild card, not because it's out of the ordinary for me or anything, but just because I totally didn't plan to do this. One evening, I randomly got a bunch of ideas for a short story I wanted to write, and I decided to just run with it because I didn't want to lose any ideas. I loaded up my universe playlist and started writing out pretty much everything I thought of. This is a story set in the larger fantasy universe I have going, which I call Endulum. So far, the stories can be read separately, but it's highly likely that they'll each reference events and characters from other stories in the same universe. But that's for future me to worry about. For now, I'm just focusing on getting down drafts of these stories and mostly figuring things out as I go along. Somewhat soon-ish, hopefully I'll actually upload some of these stories somewhere so that other people can read them too. I really like handwriting ideas as opposed to typing them. I feel like when I'm brainstorming things, I think better on paper. I did a ton of work on the outline, and then I even got to drafting a scene I want to include, so that was really great. In general, I just really love having cozy desk time, especially after a long day at work. I work full-time, and my favorite part of the day is when I get to go home, turn on the pretty lights I have up in my room, drink some coffee, and write or draw at my desk. It's truly unmatched. The next day, I was looking at what I had come up with for that short story. Of course, I ended up with a few plot holes and questions I feel like I need to answer, so I made a list so I can puzzle those out and keep track of everything. Then I went outside to breathe some fresh air and look at the pretty sky, before immediately heading back inside to once again rot in my bedroom. I switched gears from writing to drawing and did a few quick anatomy practice sketches. My anatomy has always been atrocious, and I'm taking steps to hopefully improve on that a bit by doing some practice a few nights a week. I used the website Line of Action, and I really like it. Also, I'm pretty sure the last time I mentioned this in a video, my sketchbook at the time was just a lined notebook that I wanted to use up before buying anything new, and I'm proud to report that now I have an actual sketchbook, which is pretty exciting. I emerged from the cave that is my bedroom and bravely headed downstairs to make myself a cup of tea. The Bigelow green tea is my absolute favorite. I drink at least 1 cup of this every day. While my tea was steeping, I took the opportunity to do some journaling. I've been journaling regularly since like mid-2022, but I always did it digitally, and I finally made the switch to doing it on paper. With that, it's time to get back to writing. One thing that I tried a few months ago and really enjoyed is reading a few poems from a collection before diving right into a writing session. This is something that I am directly stealing from Write with Joy. She mentioned that she sometimes does this before writing sessions, and that's where I got the idea from. Go check out her videos, she's really cool. I just kind of fell out of the habit of doing this, but I really wanted to get back into it, so I picked up The Hurting Kind by Ada Limon from my local library after work and read a few of the poems before pulling out my keyboard to write. I'm continuing to work on Project Invasion, which is the code name for my big sci-fi writing project. I have mentioned this project before, but always in really vague terms, because I'm actually still figuring out a lot of the details as I go along. I do have a full outline for it, but there are so many things about this story that are definitely subject to change at a moment's notice, or that I just don't know yet, so that's why I haven't shared a lot of the details about it yet. Hopefully in the future I'll be able to be a lot more specific. Anyway, currently I'm just focusing on getting the basic story down. I'm not worrying at all about making it good. That will come later. I actually hit 30,000 words in the draft on this particular evening, which I'm so happy about. The next day was my day off, so I spent pretty much all of it reading, which was a great way to relax after a busy week. That's it for now. I hope to see you soon for another video. Variable time, same place. Thanks for watching.